We are recording.
All right, so here we're going to start on our G chord now. So we're going to be going from the G to the E minor, and then E minor back to G. So like I said, we're doubling down on that one from inside of the E minor loop. Now our next one's going to be from the G to the C. And here we're going to think about, we get an advantage of the ring is already on the fret that it needs to be. It's just going to reach right below where the middle finger is at. Now again, that aspect of all fingers landing at the same time, that's what's important. Your shape, your initiative as it's starting is looking good, but sometimes it does this kind of a thing here, one at a time. So while you're doing this, make sure everything is landing. That's where that idea of getting the chord made and then bringing it down, that aspect of being able to make contact, three fingers moving at the same time, landing at the same time. All right, now from the G to the A minor. Like I said, this is already kind of built in because of that E minor. So put that focus on the index finger. Even if you need to go index middle a handful of times, index ring a handful of times, whatever it takes. Putting that focus on the index finger to make sure that he is there, because the muscle memory is already kind of happening there, but bring that index down with your focus. Now it brings us now to the next one, G to the F. Very similar to the C. And again, if we don't necessarily can get all that with the index finger, totally fine. Just think about that F major 7 for right now, which is the perfect set of stairs, is what's going to go on there. Again, he's already on the fret he needs to be, but he needs to skip over the G to get to the D string. And again, with the same way of making all three land at the same time, here, making all three land at the same time right there. We don't necessarily want the one at a time feeling. Think about them all coming down. All right, then it leads us to the D chord. Now this one's cool, where you pull the pinky, you're pulling the plug, ring stays put, middle index deflate down to create the triangle shape. Now the pinky is going to go into the hole, catapult the middle and the index back up. Pull the plug, leave the ring, catapult, leave the ring, middle up. Just back and forth like that. That's that pro move that's going to take place on our up strum for it to really sound nice and congruent. Again, you think about that pinky, leaving the ring. Even if you need to take your index finger on your right hand and say, you're staying there as you are practicing the shape like that. Really just leaning on that ring finger. And think about the efficiency of the pinky coming in and the middle of the index going up. So G, E minor, back to G, G, C. And one other thing too, whenever you're doing that C chord, don't let that middle sneak over the fret. Make sure he stays back. Because a couple of times he was a little bit too far over. But again, keeping in mind your landing zone of where you're wanting to be. Then G to A minor, focusing on the index. G to F, focusing on that ring. And again, everything, don't let that middle go past that fret on that one either. And then the G to the D.